Good morning, everybody. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Monday, June 25th, year 2012. Getting ready to start the week here. Actually, I already started yesterday. Did some chores. And some people are wondering, it's just like, man, you're out there all by yourself on all that land, and you got all these chores, and you're doing all these projects and making videos and all the other stuff. Don't you feel overwhelmed? Isn't it like a little crazy? Well, I guess if you didn't have a system or a plan, didn't have experience, it would be overwhelming. But one of the things that I use is I read this book by Ringer, Million Dollar Habits. And in it, he has his 7-step formula for what you do when you're feeling overwhelmed. Step number 1. At the first signs of feeling overwhelmed, call time out and mentally and physically come to a complete stop. So, if you get that funny feeling and you feel like the walls are closing in or something, or you're just all frustrated and stressed out, just stop. Just stop. Don't quit thinking about it. Just stop. Step number 2. Stand back and get a big picture perspective of the battlefield. This makes it much easier to objectively analyze the real, not imagined, downside consequences if you should fail to complete any given project on time, or fail to complete it at all. Always ask yourself, so what? And be honest about your answer in terms of a potential worst-case scenario. If the downside doesn't involve death or terminal illness, I lean hard on myself to keep it in proper perspective. Yesterday, I got up. It was a little cool out like it usually here in the morning, and sometimes the ground's wet, so don't want to do the outside projects, so I work on some inside projects for a while. And then I got the loppers out, and I lopped off a bunch of branches, cleaned out the gutters, and then on that one white Ford pickup, the last one I bought, the Ranger there, the antenna was missing, so I decided to put on a new antenna. Long story short, that project's not done yet. Can't seem to snake it through. I'll look up on the internet. Hopefully somebody's got the answer for me. But man, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's just that simple. Just not going to get overwhelmed by it. Step number 3. Eliminate everything that isn't crucial to achieving your most important objectives. To accomplish this, you have to resign yourself to some people being upset with you, but you can't allow yourself to be intimidated by others. It's important to mentally prepare yourself to make hard decisions that won't necessarily be popular with everyone. Remember, however, that unless such people are willing to do your work for you, it is they who are out of line with their display of displeasure. In other words, quit thinking about or worried about what other people think. It's your life, your choice. Make your decisions and then act on them. It's just really that simple. People get on me all this about, in trading you got these donations, or in prepping you're not doing this or that or blah. You know what? I'm living my life. I'll let them live theirs, and if they're part of living their life is criticizing me, well, let them go for it. It's not going to cause me to lose any sleep. That's for dang sure. I mean, I'm here. What would I care? You see anybody else around? Why would I care what somebody else has to say about me or think about me? The only person that can really influence me would either be the sheriff saying you're under arrest, or the judge sentencing me to a prison term or something. But beyond those two things, what somebody says or does, especially if they're just, regular folk, not holding some political power office, I could care less. Not to mention, you know what happens if they come out here and mess with me. Step number 4. Don't try to do everything. Just do something. If you don't learn to take life one wave at a time, it will overwhelm you. The aphorism, the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, is all too appropriate. Remember, you'll never get everything done, so discipline yourself to prioritize. And since circumstances constantly change, always consider present conditions when setting priorities. Then let those priorities determine your actions. I mean, once again, somebody's watching my video and said, that's just plain common sense. That's right, but common sense ain't so common. So you got to figure out what's important, but you got to take in consideration what's going on. So, you know, if it's raining outside and the most important thing to do is do some weed whacking, well, guess what? That priority is going to change because I'm not going to weed whack in the rain. But if the sun is shining and I need to sweep and mop inside, well, guess what? I'm going to make hay while the sun shines. And so things change around. Step number 5, begin. So simple, yet this is what the problem of feeling overwhelmed or of failing to take action is all about. At some point, you actually have to do it. And the first step is almost always the hardest. In this respect, another maxim that is helpful is a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So, I mean, I've kind of walked you guys around the property. You see how much stuff I've got to get cleared up and do, projects. I mean, the shop's a mess. Well, I've been working on it. It's a lot better than what it was a couple of weeks ago. But just a little every day. Just make a step forward somewhere every day. You know, sometimes you take a day off. Just take a day of rest, day to goof. Life's short. Gotta enjoy it. Can't take it too seriously. But every day you got to do something. And then when the day's done, you put your head on the pillow, and then you can say, okay, I got at least got one thing done. And then it doesn't happen all at once. You know, it's going to take me months, maybe even years to get this place in shape. But, you know, as long as I'm making progress, that's all that matters. You know, it's just that simple. Step number 6, concentrate exclusively on the project at hand. This is where you need to call on your self-discipline. If you've already decided that something is the most important thing for you to work on right now, respect your own decision by ignoring the 7,328 other projects that you'd also like to get done. No matter how pressing the second most important project may be, it's not quite as important as the one you're presently working on. The only way you'll ever be able to give project number 2 your complete attention is to fully concentrate, the only way you'll ever be able to give project number 2 your complete attention is to first concentrate fully on project number 1. In other words, pay attention to what you're doing, focus on what you're doing, put the blinders up, block out everything else. Step number 7, sustain your movement at a comfortable pace. I've referred to this in past writings as the slow, fast way. The frantic approach doesn't work. Again, self-discipline is required. I'm often amazed at how much I manage to accomplish in an hour's time when I just calm down and work at a modest pace. The results of this philosophy show up most glaringly in a lack of mistakes, because nothing is more time-consuming than having to go back and redo something. What else can I say? You just have to keep moving. Tortoise and the hare. Step number 8. I thought there were 7 steps. I guess I was wrong. Must have forgotten a couple. Step number 8. Don't stop until you're done. Remember some of the rules we've already discussed. Look the past into your hands. You're not through till you've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, and the check has cleared the bank. It ain't over till it's over, etc., etc., etc. In our world of delusion, I've long been fascinated by how so many people have a habit of announcing that they're done with something, Yet, on closer inspection, it often turns out that they're not even close to being done. Apparently, it makes them feel better if they can just say they're done. Don't delude yourself in this area. Learn to go the last 5 yards and kick the extra point before telling anyone, especially yourself, that you're done. That is so true. It's like with these security doors. I had 3 to do, and I got done with 2 of them, and the weather turned on me. I had to wait. Well, then finally I had a day. I got that last one up. I made a video about it. Now, security doors. Done. Obstacle number 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's say step number 9. Then and only then, move on to the next project. This is really an exclamation point on step number 8. Unless you're completely done, don't start working on project number 2 or worse on an even less important project. If you start dabbling in the next project before you're finished with the current one, you'll succeed only stepping right back into the overwhelm trap. That's from Robert Ringer's $1 Million Habits. Even got a $1 million bill for a bookmark. But the main point is, in there, is just you don't have to feel overwhelmed. Just take action, make it happen, do it. And always remember, people, if you fail to prepare today, you're preparing to fail tomorrow.